will be my review of Elimination Chamber, because No Way Out wasn't a good enough name for this pay-per-view, I guess. Yeah, right. Anyways, oh, before we begin, sarcasm, people. Look it up, learn what it is. Thank you. We'll make everyone's life much better. Anyways, now that randomness is gone, let's get started. Okay, so Elimination Chamber, pay-per-view built around 2 Elimination Chambers. Honestly, I'm not on the WWE booking committee, but just as someone, trying to, take pride in their work, if I was looking at this pay-per-view, there is literally no reason why this pay-per-view should be okay, or should be good. This should always be a great pay-per-view. You have 2 matches, 2 Elimination Chambers, one of which, you can book however you want, but you got to figure usually these matches should be great to match of the year contenders. Probably take up half the pay-per-view a piece. Just add in some good, stuff in between, and there's no reason why this shouldn't be an entertaining and great pay-per-view to watch. That's not what we got tonight, which is kind of surprising, because, I mean, to me, this just makes no sense. This should be very easy to book. This should be an easy pay-per-view to book, and the fact that this was all sorts of just wow. And it wasn't even really the Elimination Chambers, even though I think they kind of under-delivered. I think if the other matches on the card had just been good, I think this would have been better if we wouldn't have got as much filler as we got. I know a lot of people complained last year because they felt like there wasn't enough on this pay-per-view. There definitely was not enough on this pay-per-view. This was, I could not see any way, shape, or form that this was anywhere worth the money that the WWE charged, given what we got. So let's get started. They started off with, I think everyone pretty much figured this, as we got the Raw Elimination Chamber first, which kind of makes sense, as the big storyline, of course, was in the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, which main evented it. So what we got in this match, I would say the first half to, 3/4 of this match was really good, was great even. And then, I mean, they went out there, there was almost no eliminations. It looked like this match could go on for a very, very long time, which I would have been fine with, given the fact that we knew we didn't have a lot of other matches on this card, so I would have been fine with this going, 40, 45 minutes, if need be. And I think with the guys you had in this match, I think it could easily gone this way, unlike the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. Not so sure about that, but this could have easily gone that long. So went along, and then everyone got in, and then Cena was making his comeback. Everyone looked pretty good in here. Triple H actually went out there and sold for everybody. He actually did a pretty good job of making everyone look good, I would say, for the most part. Though I think that I think the booking ended up hurting that. Then I would blame him for that. But I think the booking ended up hurting some of that. But we got a pretty good little storyline twist when Cody came down, gave Ted a lead pipe. Ted used it on Orton, maybe by accident, we don't know, and also used it on Cena. He pinned Orton, didn't pin Cena, pinned Orton, which caused, builds that match towards WrestleMania. Nothing wrong with that. That was good. And then I think this match kind of went off the cliff as far as how they eliminated guys. Sheamus went out, and Sheamus, again, the crowd is not into Sheamus. The crowd does not believe Sheamus. They will mark out for some things that he does, but that's about it. They're kind of like, yay, why is Sheamus on offense? They're not into him yet. And I think if the WWE really wants to, that they got to do, like, I guess for them to really sell it, they're going to have to go overboard, and they didn't do that here. But Sheamus got rid of Kofi, got rid of Ted, I believe. And then Triple H got rid of him with one pedigree. Would have been nice to see him, maybe kick out of one. And Triple H having to hit him twice, and that would have been good. And that left us with Triple H and John Cena. Boring. Basically, you said the only reason to care about this match and the only which was the start of the pay-per-view, it had to have Triple H and John Cena in it, in the finals. Because that's what everybody, expected. That's the only way anyone would be into the match. I think that's the wrong message to send. I think you could have, even if it was Cena and Sheamus, and Cena got his, if you really die hard on Cena winning this match, which I think also was a mistake, you could have had him get his win over Sheamus. I would have liked to have seen maybe Ted stay and go that way. Maybe even have Kofi go over, have the two baby faces in there. I think that would have been good. I think you had better options than what they did, as far and help build some of these guys up a little bit. But it's not what we got. So, anyways, John Cena got Triple H to tap. Elimination Chamber went up. Vince McMahon came out, said, "Nope, you're gonna have to take on Batista now," and he went out. Batista basically squashed him because John Cena was dead. After the match, and which was pretty good, and so that was all we pretty much got. And yes, a match which didn't need the championship. I would say of the two big matches going to WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Vince McMahon, Bret Hart, Cena, Batista. This is the match that didn't need the championship, to be honest. The other one you could have, and it would have been fine. This one didn't. It's kind of mind-boggling that they did this. It just mind-boggling to me. I mean, really, just kind of wow. I just but they did what they were gonna do. Overall, like I said, I think the end of this, everything, the booking near the end of this, to me, just kind of took it away. Still a good match, but really good match, but not anything to go out of your way to see. But hey. Definitely not as good as the Elimination Chamber from SmackDown last year, which opened the show, which I think was like the complete opposite. I think it, the start of it was really bad, and then once Triple H and Undertaker got in there and they did their thing, then it got amazing. So, yeah, there you go. Then we got Drew McIntyre versus Kane. Yes, Drew McIntyre versus Kane for 10-plus minutes. Yeah, not a fan of this. Not a fan of this at all. You should have known beforehand that this is, that Kane and Drew, how much time they were going to have. So why put Kane in this match? Why not put, I don't know, someone else in this match? Why not put someone besides Kane? I don't hate Kane, but Kane's not someone you definitely want to be in there with 10 minutes with a guy like Drew McIntyre. You could have put somebody in there that, a little better worker, maybe been around a little longer. Probably could have carried Drew to a better match, but not what we got. So, anyways, I did not enjoy this at all. This was fairly. Then we got what we thought was going to be Gail Kim versus Maryse. That's not what we got. We got Gail Kim and Maryse taking on Michelle McCool versus Layla. They set this up with Vicky Guerrero coming out, changing the match. This was wretched. Again, bad planning ahead of time. You could have put Gail Kim in there with somebody else, somebody who was, a good worker. You could have put Michelle McCool and Beth Phoenix in there versus Gail Kim and Maryse. And I think and you could have let it go for a while. I think it would have been fine. I think you could have let it gone for, maybe 10 minutes, maybe that would have been a little long, but, just to fill time, and I think it would have been better than what we got. This was not good at all. We got The Miz versus MVP, which was set up earlier because The Miz was doing an interview talking about Next. They did promote Next on this show. I don't think they did a very good job of promoting Next on this show. The reason why I say that is The Miz came out, talked about Bryan Danielson, because, WWE, got to have a different name, so we can copyright your name. I don't like that. I understand that other people probably don't like that either, but I will say this about that. I can understand the WWE doing it more so than TNA. I know some people say I'm just hating on TNA. That's not the case. WWE actually has, real, branding and all that stuff that TNA doesn't have, and so TNA would probably be more beneficial using a guy's name and not changing their names to help get kind of, I've heard of this guy, where WWE, I can understand that. But anyways, I will say this. They put over Bryan Danielson about as good as you can on this segment. Basically talking about how, the internet fans loved him. He was the internet darling. He was the king of the indies. He was this and that. I mean, really, really sold him like he's the next fucking deal. So, and I can't remember the last time they really built up a guy like that. So that is nice to see, I would say, for anyone that was kind of worried about Bryan Danielson in WWE. This led to MVP coming out saying that we're not going to have a match. They did some more next stuff where they changed it to where William Regal is now replaced MVP. So William Regal came out. He talked about the fact about Next and what Next was. Edge came out, speared him, said he was going to announce who he was taking on Raw. Really? Did you really need to do this segment? Did you really need to have Edge on here to announce that? You couldn't just have him show up on Raw. I think that would have been better. I think it actually would have been better if you would have had all of the guys from Next come out and kind of do a little bit of promotion. Do a little bit of, hey, these are the guys you need to turn into Next. These literally could be the next big guys, and maybe have them have a little brawl or something. I mean, you could have done so much better with this, and they didn't. And oh well, what are you gonna do? I guess. But that all led to The Miz versus MVP. A Big Show was out there, of course, as was Mark Henry, because they're not just going after the United States Championship; they're also going after the United Tag Team Championships, which I have issues with as well. I think you need to get the U.S. Championship off of Miz at this point, simply because there's no reason why you're feuding for two different belts, and oh well. Overall, this was okay. I would say I wasn't blown away by it, and definitely better than the other stuff that we had gotten up to this point, but nothing that was truly amazing. So that was that. Big Show hitting with the punch, which I like. I do like that ending. I like Big Show basically doing the same thing he did for Jericho, except they sold the fact that he likes doing it because the Miz gives him respect, this, that, and the other. And can I say at this point, now that I'm thinking about it, Michael Cole sucks. Please get him off my TV. He was so wretched tonight. He just kept saying stuff and kept feeding stuff and just kept trying to get stuff over. And I'm like, JR is so badly missed. Please, dear Lord, please. Okay. Then we got the main event, the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. This was booked a little differently. We had a little bit of quicker eliminations, which was fine. It was different than the first match. I think led definitely to some things. We had, R-Truth and did we have R-Truth and Punk? We had R-Truth and Punk come out. We had Punk and Ray have a little standoff thing, which will probably lead to maybe their match at WrestleMania. And of course, it all led to Jericho versus Undertaker, and of course, HBK came out from underneath the ring and attacked Undertaker, costing him the match. So hopefully he will get his match now, in his mind, at WrestleMania. So all this was good. We had lots of good spots, lots of good action in this. A little faster, definitely. I think better than the first Elimination Chamber. Pretty great match. Probably not as great as it needed to be to save the show, but it was still, I would say, pretty good stuff. Other than that, even though you had a great match and you had a pretty good match for most of the pay-per-view was very lackluster. Pay-per-view just felt very dead. They needed more on this show, which they didn't have. That's the WWE's fault for not just, I don't know who booked this. I don't know who came up with the booking for this, but this was a fail. Like I said, if I was on the booking committee and you take pride in what you do, like I said, there's no reason why this card should ever, as long as they do this 2 Elimination Chamber thing, ever be anything less than good. And good should be a disappointment. This should be an awesome show leading into WrestleMania. This should be like a show where people are like, oh wow, did you see this? This was awesome. This was, get people hyped up for WrestleMania, and that's not what we got. very blah, very. I just did not care for this at all. Which sucks because I really, I loved last year's. Because of the chambers, and the chambers were not as good this year, and we had so much just filler crap that I think it really hurt the pay-per-view. So that's my review. If I were to get, I give it a 6.75, and that's probably being somewhat generous, just because you did have a great match on here, and and the opener, was really good, but everything else was just, to be honest. But anyways, with that, I'm out. Have a good one. Later.